Hi students, I'm going to walk you through the World War I quiz to know to make sure that you are ready for your quiz that you will take shortly. So the first question says, how do militarism, nationalism, imperialism, and alliances all help cause World War I? Well, if you remember back to the play where you got to see the different countries interact with one another, you could start to see that with militarism, nationalism, imperialism, that's going to cause the countries in Europe to be very tense. There's going to be a lot of tension. Everyone's going to be on edge and they're worried about what is their neighbor country going to do? Is their neighbor country going to take them over? Everybody thought that they were the strongest, so they were building up their military. Everybody thought that their country was the best, so they had a lot of nationalism. And it's not until there's that little tiny spark that sets off this whole entire war, which plays into the second bullet. And how does Franz Ferdinand play into World War I? Remember, Franz Ferdinand was the heir to the Austria-Hungary throne, and he was assassinated by a rebel from Serbia. And that was that one simple spark that was needed to start the war. And that's where alliances come to play. So these alliances, this agreement to help other countries is going to be what pulls in all of the rest of the countries. So France agreed to help Russia. So when Russia went into the war, then France went into the war. And Germany promised to help Austria-Hungary if they went into war. And that's why Germany entered. And France so that they would help Serbia, and on and on and on. And it pulls in all of these other countries. Moving down to the third bullet. What are the two reasons the U.S. joined the war? Well, the two reasons are the Zimmermann telegram and the Lusitania, the sinking of it. The Zimmermann telegraph, British and English and American intelligence intercepted a message that was being sent from Germany to Mexico, encouraging Mexico to attack the United States so that the U.S. would not join World War I. The U.S. got a hold of it before it ever got to Mexico, which made them quite upset with Germany. The Lusitania is a British passenger liner that was traveling in open waters, and it was sunk by a German U-boat, killing everybody on board, including a lot of American citizens. So between the American citizens being killed and Germany trying to get Mexico to attack us, it makes the United States quite upset with Germany, and it prompts us to end up joining the war. The two sides of the war are the Central Powers. Central Powers primarily make up of Germany and Austria-Hungary. The Allied Powers, France, England, U.S., Serbia, Russia. Those are going to be the two sides that are fighting. Who won the war? Hopefully you all know this, but the Allied powers end up winning the war. What were Germany's consequences? So Germany had some pretty harsh consequences after the war. The League of Nations was made. They had the Treaty of Versailles, and all of the Allied powers come together to decide what was Germany's fate. And they ended up having to pay money, which were called reparations. They had to significantly decrease their military. They could not have any tanks or U-boats or submarines. So they had some pretty strict rules that were placed on them after World War I. Trench warfare. Hopefully you are able to describe what trench warfare is, but you know that it was long, deep trenches that were built by the soldiers to engage in battles. So typically the trenches were about the average height of a male, so an average male could stand up and have their head mostly covered. It was considered to be very filthy and dirty, deadly, dangerous. It was oftentimes filled with mud because it was made out of just the ground, and any of the water would just build up, and so that would cause trench foot, trench disease. You would find rats everywhere. Disease was easily spread. Sometimes they even went as far as using dead bodies to build up the walls of the trenches. Three examples of weapons used in World War I. You could talk about several. Tanks, flamethrowers, mortars, poison gas, aircraft, submarines, barbed wire. Rifles were used, artillery in general were used. So there's lots of different examples of weapons that you could be talking about. Same thing with animals. Lots of different ways that animals were used during the war. They were used as companions, mascots. They were carriers, sending messages back and forth. They were used to haul things, sometimes including even soldiers, transportation. They were used for detection with mines and gas. So lots of different roles they played. Hopefully this gives you a little deeper understanding into the quiz and you are ready to go. Have a good day.